Behind all these headlines, there is one major question for international professionals and migrant families. What does this new government actually mean for you?
Have you read about anything that they have talked about immigration and mention anything about how they would like to control the small boats or illegal migrants?
First day he said, I want to eradicate all the rough sleeping what we have in the country.
The UK has a new Prime Minister, and within his first few days in office, Andy Burnham has already announced plans affecting energy bills, bus fares, housing, rough sleeping, businesses, and the way power is shared across the country. But behind all these headlines, there is one major question for international professionals and migrant families. What does this new government actually mean for UK immigration, visa sponsorship and ILR? Has anything officially changed, or are people confusing proposals and political promises with confirmed immigration rules? In today's episode, we will separate the facts from the speculation and examine the 10 most important questions surrounding Andy Burnham's new government. To help us understand what has genuinely been announced and what remains uncertain, I've invited Amil, the founder of Mac25 Immigration. So, without further delay, let me welcome Amil to the podcast. Hi Amil, welcome to Your Knowledge Buddy. And today's topic is all about happening in the UK politics. So, let's talk about Andy Burnham, his first few days, what he has been talking about.
I've reprioritised. The public's priority is reducing cost of living pressures.
For my audience, let's get a little bit more deeper. When did he join politics? A little bit more about him.
Thank you, Sarika. So, Mr. Andy Burnham, new Honorable Prime Minister of United Kingdom. So, he became the Prime Minister on 20th of July. But before that, his political experience is far wide. What we have not seen in previous Prime Ministers, I would say. He has been an MP, obviously. He has been a Cabinet Minister. And one thing I got to know in my research, he has also served as a Shadow Home Secretary as well.
Wow.
One time. And he was the mayor of Greater Manchester as well, and now he has jumped the ladder to become the leader of Labour Party and Prime Minister of our country. His experience has been expanded into many areas, so he's well aware about how the different sectors work as far as this politics is concerned.
Correct. And we all are following the news, what's exactly he's doing now from the day he was appointed. He was appointed last week, right?
Yeah, 20th July 2026.
20th July. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to ask about more questions, maybe deeper. I don't know if those questions are already being discussed in the politics now or will be discussed. I have no idea. But as you know that my audience are immigrants. They are the one who watch my videos and they are interested to know what it means for immigration and how are they impacted, whether it's a good signal or good sign for them or they need to worry about something. So my first question is have you read about anything that they have talked about immigration and any impact or any changes that they are going to bring?
Actually, there are plenty of articles which the government has displayed, and Mr. Andy Burnham, before becoming a leader of the Labour Party as well, he has supported and backed our Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood's Immigration and Asylum Bill, which shows that he is actually supporting her in terms of whatever reforms she wants to introduce in the country. And apart from that, obviously he said that he do not want to water down what she has already been introduced for the ILR reforms last November in 2025 for 10-year route. But apart from that, there were few articles which also stated that he also do not want to impact the people who are already on a skilled worker visa or probably on a route to settlement, and there would be some sort of transitional arrangement as far as these things are concerned. But it's very early days, as we say. He's just going through all the new stuff of being a prime minister. So we'll see, and I think immigration is something which would be on his to-do list.
Correct. And I had been reading a lot of comments on those articles, and especially my audience, they follow those news very closely because they have a huge impact. I think the problem or the issue here was, especially the immigrants who are on their route to settlement, they are the one who feel betrayed because they feel like they had only spent say 4 years, now they are just left with 1 year. And if the rules change now, it's going to have a massive impact on their personal life here.
Of course,
and that is why they are very now curious, and people are also stressed out. People are anxious, what is mean for them, will they be impacted or not. So I believe if in the coming days, if they make it clear, whatever is the transitional arrangement, that will put them to a little bit of rest because it's been going on for some time.
Yeah,
Because-
almost a year. I
almost
would
a
say.
year.
Almost
Exactly.
a year. Yeah.
Because it was published last year in July, if I remember.
Yes.
22nd of July. I remember that.
22nd. So we are celebrating the anniversary as well for the same,
Anniversary. Exactly.
Yeah, where the rules had changed.
Yeah.
Things
yeah.
were completely different, and now it's completely different. But one point I would also like to say, as you also posted a few days back, that Shabana Mahmood was in House of Commons
Yes,
on
correct.
13th of July,
Correct.
and she had the discussion about the ILA, because it was all about ILA reforms, how things are going to work, because I know a lot of your audience who
Yeah.
messages me and email me what happened actually in there, and nobody watched the entire videos. But what she said later in the year, somewhere I think November is something I believe she likes, so maybe in November she would come down and she would tell us that what consultations they have been reviewed, because she has explicitly said that they want to review the entire consultations, and later this year they are going to come back with whatever decision they want to take and go ahead with.
Okay, so maybe then November is the time
Yeah,
people have to.
of course,
So
yeah.
anybody, if your ILR is due before that, of course, make sure you apply, so that you don't get impacted. And we don't know people who are already on the route to ILR. We don't know
course.
whether you'll be impacted or not. Depends how and what transitional arrangements they are
Right.
going to discuss in the new proposal.
Exactly,
What they said.
exactly, yes.
Okay. I also read, somewhere about the government is supporting the Asylum Bill. Can you just talk a little bit in depth about it?
See, immigration and asylum bill is something where they are proposing in the parliament that they want to replace the immigration judges, and they want to make a separate committee where people just would be the committee, and whoever would be authorized by the Home Office, they would be only looking at the backlogs. They would be looking at the people who have applied for asylums, because there are years and years of people who are waiting for the asylum to get a refugee status, or whether they are eligible for that or not. So this specific community will obviously protect human rights applications as well. They would be a bit stricter probably on Article 8 application, as we say, for people who have got integrated in this community in United Kingdom. So there are so many elements when we talk about asylum. So at the end of the day, this bill will make a big impact, and after a new Prime Minister have already supported that, so that means there would be some substance in that, and the bill is still going through the parliament, and soon we'll be getting to know more details about it, that how things are going to be. But they want to make sure that less number of people migrate from small boats through the channels of United Kingdom, and they can protect the borders. Obviously that's all we want, as well as the citizen of this country as well. So let's hope for the best.
Okay, good. Thanks, Amil. Did they mention anything about how they would like to control the small boats or illegal migrants? Did they speak in the last 10 days or so? Anything?
Nothing specific, to be honest. It's just that Shabana Mahmood, who is retained as a Home Secretary now.
She's the only one who's retained, right, from the previous.
Exactly. She's the only one who to get her own position in the cabinet. So that's a great achievement, I would say, and a proud moment for the country, I would say. Women empowerment,
Yes,
of course.
indeed.
So she have been back and forth about this new asylum bills and stuff, but not per se anything specific by the new Prime Minister or anything new. Yeah.
Okay. We are going to talk about the next topic in a more detailed video, which is about the TSL, which is a temporary shortage occupation list. So I'm not going to touch on in this topic. So I'm going to ask you more questions like, okay, we touched upon the announcement, say, regarding asylum, Shabana Mahmood back into her position, and maybe a little bit support she'll be getting from the Prime Minister as well, because he's quite supportive of what she is working, and maybe then we'll get to know more in the month of November. Okay, what else is happening? What is the central idea behind this new government?
There are so many things which are happening. I don't know whether it's relevant to your audience or not, but I think it's relevant to the people who live in this country. Let's say, for example, one thing is very fascinating that I have come across, that Downing Street has been moved to Manchester.
Yes,
that's very fascinating. Obviously Manchester have their own number 10 Downing Street, but now we have a new Downing Street in the north, as they say, in Manchester, Heron House. So just today in the morning I was just looking at a new Prime Minister video where he actually showed his new office, and it was really interesting.
The
Manchester one at Heron House. It was a good office space type thing, and where he showed that where he sits and how it looks like, and it was really very nice. I think people can view that video maybe on Twitter, X, and probably on LinkedIn. But I think when I read his article about Heron House, about the 10 Downing Street moving to another 10 Downing Street in Manchester, his idea is to decentralize the political and economical power. So in simple words, I would say he would like to involve the local leaders, the senior ministers, to contribute, to collaborate with each other and solve the local issues as well. Not just in Manchester, not just in London, but other parts of UK, which probably are maybe avoided, and maybe only the metro cities are being looked after. But I think his main aim is to make sure that the power should come out of Westminster Downing Street and it should go to each and every postcode of the country. So that what have been
That's a good
mentioned.
strategy.
Of course,
That's a good strategy.
and involving local mayors, involving senior ministers and local regional leaders, I would say, for each counties and each town would make a big impact. Let's say for potholes and small stuff, we see for crimes, for car parks, and though so many stuffs are there which other towns are facing. So I think that's a really great move.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So does he mean then he will be maintaining two offices? One will be, of course, the London as well, and Manchester. He will be operating from both the places.
Yeah. So as far as his itinerary is concerned, he has said he'll at least go once a week to Manchester.
Once a week.
Yeah, and he'll be traveling over there. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe like a Friday thing.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. And what is he actually announced on household taxes and energy bills? I read quite a lot. He was talking about it, but I didn't read more in detail. Do you remember?
Yeah, I mean, see, he has proposed that the VAT component from the electricity bill will be taken out from 1st of October 2026.
Okay.
So that means the domestic electricity bill would have a difference of about £45, maybe on annual basis or something like that. But that is the figure what has been I have seen in the article and some publishers have published. But I think it's a big achievement as a government because it's a huge funding of £1.8 billion. And that funding is coming from the digital ID program, which was announced by a previous prime minister.
Okay.
And they have completely scrapped that, and they said this funding, whatever we had for digital ID program, is going to be used over here for the VAT stuff for the electricity bills. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's a big change then. I did not read this in detail, so I had no clue about this one. And do you know about his plan to tackle the rough sleeping as well?
I think his first day as a prime minister, I was very closely following. I like UK politics, to be honest. I was closely following, and the first day he said, I want to eradicate all the rough sleeping what we have in the country. And the good part about that is they have obviously said that they would like to build about 1200 houses and give intensive care to about 3000 people in the country. So I think it's a big development for people who are sleeping on road and due to homelessness and stuff.
Yeah, so rough sleeping, it basically means people who are homeless, who don't have a house to sleep. And he was talking about that a little bit. I'm not sure how many people are going to agree with his plan, because previously there were a lot of articles or videos which were published where people were put in hotels, especially people who come through small boats or illegal migrants. And I don't know how people are going to relate this rough sleeping versus illegal migrants versus the small boats, and whether he'll be supported with this idea or not.
Yeah, of course, completely agree.
Because everything is coming out from the taxpayers' money, because a lot of people are paying huge taxes here in the UK, and if they see their money being not utilized in the right way, of course they won't be happy about it.
Yeah, actually he is looking from a holistic approach. I would say that he would like to impact small areas which have not been looked after for many years.
Okay.
So I guess that's the reason he's targeting those specific things right now. Yeah.
Okay. And what has he said about housing, welfare, support for young people?
I mean, those are two separate topics, I would say. So first, about the housing, they have said somewhere that they would like to develop more council houses in collaboration with obviously senior ministers and local leaders. But one thing about the youth, I have seen that he has requested all the employers to collaborate with the government and to train the youth of these countries. As you said, there are so many areas where now you cannot hire an overseas migrant.
Correct.
Even if they are based over here, probably outside of the UK. So the government would like the employers to train them in specific areas where the country is lacking, where the country is looking at lack of resources in the specific towns and villages. As we have discussed multiple times, that even my clients are, out of resource. Even they are paying a high amount of salary who are based in small remote areas, but none of them are turning up for that. So he is he's actually asking employers to train specific employees and people and youth of this country so that they can get over these issues of the labor and the employment
shortages
market. Of
and
course,
all, yeah. And I think I read about some of the training programs, apprenticeships as well, supporting that, so that they train their own people
Of
and
course.
then bridge this gap of the labor shortage that they have.
Yeah.
Okay, this is good then. Then good news for the country, of course.
Of course, yes.
And you need to, of course, give first priority to your own people rather than
Right.
bring an immigrant. And when you have your own local people to do it, why do you need an immigrant to fill that role? yeah?
Exactly. Agreed.
And that is what is mentioned in TSL as well, which we'll talk about it later. Okay, let's talk about the public transport and the
Yeah.
cost of travel. We know that, say, the train tickets, it's not cheap.
Yeah,
it is
of course.
quite high as
It's
compared to other European countries if you compare their travel cost or the train cost. What did he announce on the public transport and the train tickets, sir?
So they would like to put a cap specifically in England, but not in London, but specifically in England for single fares for £2. And they have said that it would reduce the expenses by 1/3 for people probably who will be traveling to their schools, universities, healthcare, leisure. So I think that's a big move as well, and that would start from 1st of January 2027 and it will run until 31st of December 2027. So it's a complete 1-year program where a lot of people would be looking at a lot of savings.
Okay. When is it starting?
1st of Jan,
Oh, 1st of Jan.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time.
5 months.
Yeah. I thought maybe you're saying 1st of August. Yeah, that's why I was interested. Okay, and he did announce something for pubs, like some tax support he has announced for pubs, clubs, live music venues. What is that? And why only pubs and clubs and not other restaurants?
I think for pub, clubs and live music venues, he has been very specific about them. He has specifically mentioned, and some article have stated that not every pubs, clubs and live music events would be getting these benefits, and they would be getting a 20% lower business rate where they can save a lot of money because it's more about community. We just saw the recent Football World Cup where people were, too much into it, and so many people were coming together and everyone was being together.
Together, unity.
I think that's the main aim, and I think this is what the country needs right now, to be united, to be wherever you're from, to work together and to enjoy the events together.
Yeah. I feel like if you don't work in collaboration,
Yeah.
there will be cracks. You will see those cracks,
Of course.
And if you work together, you will see a lot of things happening the country will move faster.
Of
in a
course,
fast
of
way.
course.
Yeah. I always take a good example of NHS. Yeah. If you look at NHS, it's a lot of immigrants are working there. If those immigrants kind of stop working or if they withdraw, I don't think NHS will work on its own.
Of course.
It will pause or it will collapse, they believe. So it can work best when both work together.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Amil, so far. Was there any discussion around the approach for business, jobs, or wider economy as such?
I think, as we previously discussed, it is there on their agenda right now to make sure that all the regional local leaders work together and contribute towards all the local regional problems they are facing. And obviously they are proposing few things for the small businesses as well. But as I said, yet it is very early to talk about it. And I think in coming months and coming weeks, we'll be getting to know more about that in detail.
Awesome. Thanks, Amil. I think from my perspective and my audience perspective, I'm following the news, by the way, on a regular basis. I want to know what's happening. And I know my audience are waiting for my video so that they can get to know more in detail of what's happening in the UK politics. Of course, they want to know the impact on them. So as of now, as of today, whatever we have discussed, there's no impact as of now. There's no change announced. It's just that Shabana Mahmood is there and they will be looking at the white paper, the work she has done, and then whatever changes they decide or whenever the law is made. Mostly they will be announcing in the month of November. That's what
Probably
it said.
the end of the year they mentioned.
End of the year, so it can be any time.
Exactly.
They're going to say. And we talked about asylum. TSL we are going to talk about it separately, and that's it. To be honest, there's nothing more. What about the graduate visa? I saw your post, and that's what I wanted to talk about. What was the graduate visa happening?
So the UK education sector has actually requested the new Prime Minister about the graduate visa because a lot of things are happening right now at this point of time, and obviously they want to make sure that the student numbers are not falling in the country as well. Because if the graduate visa has been taken out, and obviously we know from January it would be reduced from 24 to 18 months.
Yes, correct.
So they don't want it to be impacted, and somehow it should not make UK as not a favorable destination for students coming. from different parts of the world, as we have seen people from US, India and China coming in
most students
huge
come from.
crowds. If something happens to graduate route, obviously the time is also diminishing as far as the timeline is concerned. So they just want to propose this to the Prime Minister that it should not impact the graduate route, whatever decision they come up with later on, because otherwise UK would be the only country which would not be favoring the students if something happens to the specific route.
And that will have a huge impact on the universities, because their funding, the funding which the international students bring, most of the universities run on those fundings. That's what one of the article was saying. So their proposal or request to the government is to keep the graduate visa, because we are already reducing from 2 years to 18 months from 1st of Jan. So they want at least nothing to be changed and keep that at least going forward as well.
Exactly.
So that UK university can run, and then also the international students, they can still look UK as a favorable destination to study abroad rather than moving to different countries. Yeah.
But this international students and people who are coming from outside of the UK, this contributes billions and billions to UK economy.
Yeah, that's true.
So it would impact that as well. So hopefully, wish everything goes well.
Yeah, okay. Is there anything else, Amil, you want to cover? I think we covered a lot. Is there something else which I missed to ask you?
Just one thing: don't miss the rumors. Don't listen to the rumors. I would say that's the best part.
Yeah.
So many Instagram, TikToks, reels I have seen which do not make any sense.
Yeah.
Whatever you and me are discussing, we are evaluating all the articles, all the news, and making sure we are not putting out any wrong information.
Correct.
Even if in this video, anything is like that, obviously we would like to make sure that things are in a very straight line manner, and we are only producing the content which is maybe somebody would have published, or maybe the government have said.
Either from the Home Office or from the news article like BBC.
Exactly.
We are referring everything.
Exactly.
So do not listen to the rumors, or do not listen to whatever wrong information is out there. Always validate the source of the information. Okay. And thank you very much, Amil. And anybody who are looking to get their ILR application done, Amil is here to help you. I had already been getting a lot of requests from some of you guys regarding the ILR requests and the questions. So please reach out to Amil. I'll provide all the links in the description and pin comment. Thank you very much, Amil. Thank you for coming, and all the best to you.
Thank you, Sarika. Thank you so much, everyone.